This recent Utah Tech tournament was insane. Here's a recap of the tournament, starting with qualifiers.
As always, Autonomous is boring. At the beginning of drivers, they back up for match loading, and this Shack bot tries to cyberbully them. But since our A-team's bot is very chunky, it didn't do much to stop them from match loading. Their match loading gets the ref's approval, and they start pushing triballs over to the other side of the field. They tried to go through the alley, but the other team didn't like that. They pushed each other around for a bit, and then they gave up, and we scored some triballs. Later in the match, the other team tried bowling some triballs, but we were able to block most of them. Then it was just a matter of hanging, which we sadly only got one hang down, but it was a decisive victory. Moving on to our second match, same old boring Autonomous. Going on to drivers, our B team's bot zoomed right over to the match load bar, and they started match loading. But during the match loading, they accidentally raised back up their wing, and the ref did not approve of this rule breaking. They talked about it for a little bit, and then another ref found a nice spot to stand for the rest of the game, which happened to be right in front of the camera. So I'll spoil that they got DQ'd and skipped to the next match. This game, our A team wasn't match loading, so they used their superior far side auto. Not having to match load gave them free roam of the field, which they spent harassing the other team's match loaders. They actually ended up flipping them, which the driver claimed to be an accident, but I'm pretty sure he knew exactly what he was doing. The ref had similar thoughts and gave us a warning. After this, we started scoring single balls. Then our alliance partner went down the alley and got a ton of tri-balls, and then decided that wasn't enough and did it again later. Then our alliance partner started match loading again for maximum tri-balls, which left the goal overflowing. The other team started to match load with their flywheel, but there wasn't enough time for them to score the tri-balls. We tried to hang, but just barely missed it. Going straight to drivers, we didn't have to match load once again, so we just drove around eating any tri-ball in sight. Halfway through the game, I noticed a ref next to the camera, so I tried to save the view, but it didn't help much. We noticed there was a bunch of tri-balls patiently waiting to be scored, so we went over the barrier and then around to score them. We then played a little defense and went for hang, but didn't get there in time. Next match, our B team decided just to bowl the balls into the alley, but this caught the attention of the enemy, who didn't want to share any tri-balls with us. Then they got stuck in a corner and blocked the alley. Eventually they moved, but it gave the other bot enough time to block the alley from the other side. They decided to split the tri-balls evenly, which meant we had to bowl again. The other bot tried to stop them, but it was too intimidated by our bot and ran away. Then we were able to get a double hang, which secured the win. Next match is our B team once again. They got bored of bowling and instead started launching tri-balls over. Their original intent was to take down a bot with a precision-guided tri-ball, but they settled for just scoring them instead. Then we almost flipped another bot, but decided to spare them. After that, we stole all the red team's tri-balls to make sure our goal was overflowing. Randomly, our bot died during the match, and then it woke up and got stuck doing donuts? I'm not really sure. And then it died again. I guess it just fulfilled its purpose. Either way, we won the game. Going on to the next game, everything was pretty standard until the battery decided it wasn't bound by our simple mechanisms and escaped from its aluminum prison. The robot ran on life support for a bit until dying in a way that blocked the alley. The other interesting thing that happened was our teammate got pushed in a way that it completely trampled over the other bot, so they couldn't elevate, which allowed us to win despite the low score. During Autonomous this game, the blue team did a no-no and went into their own goal, but as usual, nothing else happened. During drivers, our team scored a bunch of tri-balls for match loading them into the tunnel, and then later they yoinked most of the tri-balls on the opponent's side, so in retaliation the other team did the same. But we weren't just going to let that slide, so of course we stole those precious tri-balls back. Then we cyber-bullied another bot until they gave us one of their tri-balls and did our hang. Right at the beginning of drivers, our alliance partner almost got flipped, but there was a gust of wind that saved him. Other than that, we just periodically match loaded and scored until it was time to hang, which we both got our hangs off, securing the win. In the next game, we decided it was best to play aggressive and double zone, because as Sun Tzu once said in The Art of War, if the enemy alliance does not have a pancake bot, it is useful to double zone. This ended up working out very well because by the end of the game we had an overflowing goal, although we sadly weren't able to get hang off. Still got the win though. In the next game, our B team was match loading again, so the other bot tried to stop us, but it wasn't the biggest bot, so we had no problem pushing him around. They didn't like being pushed around like this, so later they tried to de-score, but since our alliance partner was touching the middle barrier, it was illegal. We went to hang, but our wing was out, so we had to readjust, and we just barely made it in time, which meant another win for us. In the next match, our A team was trying to match load, but this other very large bot pushed us out of the way, and then did a wheelie, which is just a power move. Very intimidated, we drove away and pushed some straight tri-balls over. The other team started match loading onto their side, which we quickly went over and picked up the tri-balls to ensure we kept the lead. Eventually, we built up enough courage to match load again, but there was not enough time to score the balls, so we went for hang. This win left our A team in first place for alliance selection, and of course, we allianced with our team B. Things got super intense in the finals matches, so I think it's time I cue the epic music.
Show
We made our way through quarter and semifinals, and now it was time for finals. Our team sadly lost the Auton bonus, putting us at an early disadvantage. At the start of drivers, we scored the first few tri-balls and stole some of the other team's tri-balls. The B team was getting bullied by the same bot from one of the earlier matches, so it was hard to bowl or match load. The other bot would not let up, and they were only able to bowl one tri-ball. You can tell this is a high-level game because it's very starved of tri-balls. The clock is ticking, and our B team is desperately trying to match load. Our A team is doing whatever they can to stop the other team from match loading and scoring. With 30 seconds left, both teams got one tri-ball in the goal. Then at the worst possible moment, our A team's bot disconnects. Thankfully, they got it back and running, and while this happened, our B team was trying to weave around the other team's bot to score some tri-balls. With 10 seconds left, he gives up and goes back for hang. The clock is ticking down and our A team still hasn't gotten their hang, but right at the last second, they get it, and the other team's bot fails to do their hang. Then the buzzer sounds. This was it. All the many hours of building, coding, and practicing had led up to this moment. The scores are announced. We had won by 12 points.